If you keep saying, I don't have the time to work out, I don't have the time to cook, or I don't have the time to take care of my personal health, I'm gonna tell you something you probably don't want to hear. It's not that you need more time, it's that you need to take back control of the time that you already have. Now, before you get your panties in a bunch, I understand that not everyone's 24 hours look the same. You might have crazy responsibilities, a demanding career, children, or family responsibilities, maybe financial stress, or even a hectic schedule. You might just be legitimately busy. But if you keep on waiting until life calms down to prioritize your health, you may wait forever or wait until it's too late. Because as you advance in your career, build a family, or take on more responsibilities, your time only becomes more scarce. So you're better off learning how to manage your time right now. So today we're gonna figure out whether you're actually lacking time or we're losing time somewhere without intention. If you wanna get the most out of this video, I recommend grabbing a piece of paper and a pen and following along. First, let's zoom out for a second. Instead of just saying, I don't have time today, let's take a look at your entire week. Every week contains 168 hours. Now let's say that you sleep 8 hours a night. That's about 56 hours a week. That leaves 112 hours left for the week. Now let's assume that you have a full-time job and you have to commute to work, roughly 50 hours a week. Now you have 62 hours left in the week still. Now obviously you still have to account for errands, showering, cleaning, eating, partner time, and everything else that you have to do just to be a functioning adult. I'm not claiming that these 62 hours are completely free time. The point is to change the questions you ask. Instead of asking, do I have a bunch of free time this week to work out? Turn it into, can I allot 3 to 4 hours out of my 168-hour week for my health and fitness? 3 to 4 hours a week is only 5 to 6% of the 62 hours of free time or extra time you have outside of work and sleep. Most people can get amazing results by simply strength training, 3 to 4 focus sessions per week, consistent daily movement, protein-centered whole food meals, reasonable sleep. I don't even get 8 hours of sleep every single night, and a simple preparation system like a grocery shopping day and meal prep day. You don't need to be working out 6 days a week for 2 hours each session. You don't need to be making all these insane, perfectly curated, macro-friendly recipes you see online and putting them in perfectly stacked glass Tupperware. You don't need to make health and fitness your entire personality and your entire life. What you need to do is make health and fitness a priority in your lifestyle. If you still feel like you just can't find those 3 to 4 hours per week, we need to figure out where your time is actually going. Start with society's biggest crutch today. Pull out your phone. Go into your screen time and audit your screen time. See what your daily average is. Take that daily average and multiply it by 7 to see just how much time every week is going into your phone. Let's just imagine that your screen time is 3 hours, which is very low compared to the usual average. 3 hours a day leads to 21 hours throughout the week being on your phone. That's almost an entire day gone just from looking at a small screen. Now, I understand not all screen time is created equal. Sometimes you could genuinely use your phone for communication, for your business, or for research and education. But it's about understanding the truth behind how intentional and how consciously you're choosing to use the screens you have. There's a major difference between consciously choosing to watch a 2-hour movie with your wife or accidentally doom scrolling for 2 hours and then getting anxious about all the stuff that you didn't do. The problem isn't the screens themselves. The problem is the unconscious attention we're giving to them. A lot of people are trapped in what I like to call the overwhelm cycle. You start thinking about everything you need to do, like working out, getting your healthy meals, family responsibilities, side projects you might be working on, and it all feels too big. You don't know where to start, and you become overwhelmed. And then the overwhelm and anxiety pushes you into avoidance and distraction. You want to do things well, so if you're gonna do it, you're gonna do it well. And you don't know where to start in order to do it great. So instead, you avoid it. You tell yourself that you'll start once you're more focused or more motivated or have more energy. And this pushes you then into distraction, because now all you can do is sit in this discomfort, this anxiety of not starting the things that you want to start. So instead of sitting with it, you run from them using distractions to escape these feelings. Things like opening up social media, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, or finding random chores or tasks to do around the house that don't align with the tasks that you had originally planned to do. So then you start losing time, which is the next one. You start distracting yourself with all these different things that weren't originally on your priority list, and you lose time. So now you have less time to do the things that are actually important to you. With that less time, that means that you have more tasks left unfinished because you don't have the time to do them. And with those more tasks that keep piling up, it pushes you right over into that overwhelm and anxiety again, and the cycle perpetually repeats itself. This is why you can feel so busy all day, and then when your head hits the pillow, you sit there and feel like you didn't accomplish anything at all. Because it's not a matter of doing more or working harder, it's a matter of breaking this cycle and doing the things that actually matter most. Which is why I created a completely free time blocking and time reclamation workbook that will help you do exactly just that. The workbook includes a time and attention audit where you'll calculate where your time is going and decide what needs to be removed, kept, or reduced. It also includes an ideal week calendar, a boundary audit, backup fitness plans, and a weekly reset system. You can download the guide and the workbook through the first link in the description below. Okay, now let me show you how to start reclaiming your attention starting today. Today, technology makes distraction so effortless. Your phone is always within reach, notifications are constantly bombarding you, and every application is competing for your attention. So what we need to do is make that distractions just a little bit more difficult, starting with these 4 things. Number 1 is turn off your notifications. You don't need to know the exact second someone sends a promotional email, likes your post, or even texts you, even if it's me, guys. You can change your settings in your phone, or I personally just like to leave my phone on do not disturb for most of the time. Every single time you feel a buzz or that pinging sound, it's going to pull for your attention no matter who you are. So stop allowing all these apps to fight for that attention. Number 2 is to build your home screen. Every single time you open your phone, your brain will habitually and instinctually go to open the apps that you're most used to. So rebuild your home screen. Delete DoorDash. Delete any app that is sapping your attention. Move your home screen around. I personally like to make my home screen my most valuable apps to me. So running my business and caring about my health and fitness, it's usually my calendar, my communication app with clients and our teammates, and also my macro tracking app. That's pretty much all that is on my main screen. You are creating a gap, a little bit of a pause of resistance before your instincts and subconscious take over, causing you to go into the social media or whatever it is that's distracting you. Number 3 is to create phone-free blocks. It would be unrealistic to say that you should not use your phone all day. That's not the goal. The goal is to create boundaries around when you shouldn't use your phone. Make it very specific periods of times, like during your workouts, during dinner with your partner or family, while you're working on an important and deep work task. And 2 very important ones is 30 minutes to an hour before bedtime and after waking up. Our goal is not to become some monk or yogi who detaches from today's society and avoids all technology. Our goal is to be present, to be conscious when we decide to be. Number 4, which has drastically changed my productivity in life, is using stronger blocks like this little brick here. Native screen time limiters are way too easy to bypass. All you have to do is hit a little button that says ignore limit today or give me 15 more minutes, and you can do it for an unlimited number of times. When that pops up on my phone, I will absolutely say, give me 15 more minutes, and then just continue wasting my time. That's why I started to use this little brick. I'm not even sponsored by Brick, but maybe y'all should sponsor me because I love talking about this product. Brick creates a physical barrier between me and the apps that are distracting me. I keep this in the kitchen pretty far away from my office, so if I want access to Instagram, let's say, I physically have to get up, walk over there, and tap my phone on this brick. It doesn't sound like much, but even just that little extra friction is enough to calm our lizard brains and has allowed me to reclaim a lot of my time, focus, and productivity. I'm not saying that you need to buy a brick. The principle that matters here is that you need to make it as difficult as possible to give back into your distractions. Other ways you can do this is leaving your phone in a completely different area. I used to leave my phone in the garage or in my car, or give it to a friend friend or partner to physically get it away from you, just to create more friction. Okay, so I don't want to just bore you with the education. I want to give you a practical way to implement this into your life as well. And this is where the 24-hour audit comes into play. For one full day, record where your time is going. Don't try to change anything, just observe and write it down. Start by creating these 4 categories: required, important, intentional enjoyment, and unconscious distraction. Required could be things like work, your commute, appointments or meetings, or even childcare. Important is all the things that align with the identity of who you're trying to become, your best self. Exercise, sleep, personal growth, deep work and projects that align with your career path or business, or even things like meal prepping and grocery shopping. Intentional enjoyment is exactly what it sounds like. If you do not have time for this, you will burn out. This is going to depend on the individual, but for me, it would be things like gaming, going on hikes, watching movies with my wife, going out with my friends, or simply laying down and reading a book. It's anything relaxing to you that you're consciously making the choice to do. Lastly is unconscious distraction. These are the things like doom scrolling, constantly procrastinating, checking notifications, or doing busy work that doesn't actually produce any results for you. At the end of the day, you should be asking yourself a couple questions. Where did I lose time without even realizing it before? What genuinely helped me feel recharged after? What left me feeling worse after? Where can I reduce things without negatively affecting my life? And how much time could I actually reclaim each week from this audit? If you're anything like me, I know that you need this disclaimer. Do not sit there and judge yourself and ruminate when you notice how much time you've been wasting. This is just an observation, a data collection point to improve from. If you sit here and beat yourself up, you're only going to go back into the avoidance and distraction cycle all over again. Just become aware, and then we can make choices that align more with the identity you want to build moving forward. You may be busy, but you are not powerless. There is a big difference between having limited time and having no control over your time. The goal isn't for you to become some productive robot every second of the day. It's to stop allowing unconscious distractions take away from your time that should be allotted to your goals, your relationships, your health, and your recovery. In the next lesson, I'll be showing you how to take the priorities that you identified today and how to create a calendar, a weekly schedule that you can actually stick to. We'll cover the exact 5-step time blocking system, how to match your tasks to your energy levels, and also how to include time buffers if you want to be able to stick to it in real life. If you want to implement what we covered today, don't forget to hit the first link in the description below to download the time blocking guide and the time reclamation workbook. If you complete the audit and you realize that your problem isn't necessarily knowing that you're distracted, but it's implementing a plan that actually is going to get efficient results and fits into your schedule, or you just need the extra accountability to help you follow through, that's exactly what we do at Full Potential Coaching. We help busy desk workers build stronger and healthier bodies through personalized strength training, nutrition, habits, and lifestyle coaching without forcing you to make fitness your entire life. You can apply for one-on-one coaching through the second link in the description below. Oh, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you found this video helpful. I'll see you guys in the next one.